Welcome to Pat's Papers. I'm Pat Kiernan. We go through news headlines from across the country to show you what's in the newspapers. Here's our top story today. Okay, perhaps it is not a sign of respect to grow green hair on a statue of President Obama. The Chicago Tribune reports that Walgreens has pulled Chia Obama from its shelves. The president of the Chia company is rejecting any suggestion that the new product is offensive. He says, "I'm a Republican who voted for Obama." The president returned to Washington early today after his overseas trip. The Washington Post says he presented a starkly different image of the United States than George Bush. The story says the president used a refrain of humility and partnership in an attempt to rally allies around issues of mutual concern. Photos from Mr. Obama's surprise trip to Baghdad appear on the front page of most newspapers this morning. A huge photo above the fold in the New York Times. It's on the front page of the Daily Progress in Charlottesville, Virginia. And the Baghdad trip's at the top of page 1 in the Bakersfield Californian. Although I noted here that there is another big story about a secret visit. I guess this is proof that local news rules. Barack Obama makes his dangerous trip into Baghdad, but the paper's big exclusive this morning is the fact that Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger made a secret trip to Bakersfield yesterday to meet with some business leaders there. Kumar is going to the White House. The Chicago Sun-Times among the papers reporting on the appointment of actor Kal Penn to a government job as a public liaison by the White House. They're talking about this one for weeks in Detroit. It's finally happened now. Jay Leno performed last night in Detroit. 15,000 unemployed or underemployed locals were there. The picture up front in the Detroit News. Leno said, "This is one of the great industrial cities," and he said, "This is a city that actually makes a product." One other item from Detroit, local boy Eminem releasing a single ahead of his new album. Detroit News pop writer Adam Graham is not impressed. He says it's the same old Eminem formula of celebrity skewering rhymes, and he says it feels dated seconds after watching it. A landmark gay rights decision in Vermont. With a margin of just a single vote, the legislature overrode a veto by the governor and legalized gay marriage. This story fills the entire front page of the Burlington Free Press. It leads the New York Times as well. This is the first state to allow same-sex marriage through a legislative action rather than through a court decision. In a recession, people want a happy ending. The New York Times says sales of romance novels are hot. Maybe we should say sales are steamy. Earnings are up 32% at Harlequin in the fourth quarter. The Times says there was a similar desire in the Great Depression to escape through fiction. Another effect of the recession from the Los Angeles Times this morning. People are avoiding doctor and dentist visits. Some California dental practices say business is down 15 to 30%. From Pasadena, pictured in the New York Post this morning, actor Robert Downey Jr. The Post says he is well-heeled, as in he's got high heel lifts to make the 5'9" actor seem taller for his latest movie. Stick to a routine. That's one of the tips in the Miami Herald this morning. A list of 10 tips for parents of picky eaters. Other rules include no snacks within an hour of mealtime for the kids, and watch out for those liquid calories, which will reduce a child's appetite for solid food. Interesting story about golf and memory loss in the Wall Street Journal. Alzheimer's patients who have trouble remembering what they did 5 minutes ago can often still play a great round of golf, and it can be good therapy because it clears their frustration about their memory trouble. New York Post among the papers expressing skepticism about that Segway car we showed you yesterday. The two-person electric car seems rather fragile when it's on the same road as speeding trucks. There's a brilliant headline here. Mini driver. The Post calls the little car bizarre. A lot's happened in the iTunes price hike story since the newspapers went to press. Both Amazon and Walmart quietly followed Apple in setting higher prices for the most popular music downloads. The Boston Herald's Jed Gottlieb says the new pricing plans remind him of the value menu at Taco Bell. Speaking of digital music, no decision yet about whether the Beatles will finally join the online music world. USA Today reports the Beatles' entire library has been remastered for CD release on September 9th. And finally, a lost and found system made possible by the internet. Rhonda Sermon found a camera last year in Scotland. It contained hundreds of pictures. It looked like somebody's honeymoon, so she really wanted to find the person who lost it. She started working with clues from the photos, tracked down the owner. There's even a website now called Found Cameras and Orphan Pictures. The story in the New York Times says digital lost and found solutions are helping people recover everything from wallets to computers to the ashes of the dead. Thanks for joining us today for Pat's Papers. I'm Pat Kiernan. You can go to our website, patspapers.com, where you will find links to reach the individual newspapers to read the full text of any story we featured here today.